Are you tired of self-doubt holding you back? Have you ever wished you could have the confidence to face your fears, go after your wildest dreams, and the tools necessary to live your best life? Hey there, amazing listeners. I'm your host and author of How to Grasp Confidence and Own Your Power. And I've made it my mission to help you break free from self-doubt and embrace confidence. Subscribe now and join us as we unlock the secrets to unshakable self-assurance. Let's dive in. Today, I am interviewing Dr. Vidyani Suryadevara. She is a leading researcher and educator and innovator at Stanford University, where she serves as an instructor in the Department of Radiology and faculty fellow in the Center for Innovation in Global Health. With a passion for advancing medical science and aging research, she has pioneered groundbreaking imaging techniques to detect aging in osteoarthritis and has played a key role in establishing expert recommendations for biomarkers of aging through the NIH SenNet consortium. Ooh, that's interesting. Her research extends into neuroscience and aging, where she investigates the brain-bone connection in Alzheimer's disease. Wow, I love this. This is interesting. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Tara.
Yes, and where are you joining us from? What part of the world?
Oh, I'm joining you all from San Francisco, as you can see from the Decoding bridge in my background.
From San Francisco. I love that. What an interesting line of work. I really want to hear a little bit about your background. I'm sure everybody does, because when they hear somebody, works at a prestigious university such as Stanford and has all of your credentials, they're probably wondering, how did you get your start? So if you wouldn't mind taking us back and sharing with us a little bit of history as to how you got started and interested in all of this.
Mhm. So I was born in South India in Hyderabad, and I did my undergrad in biotechnology because I always wanted to do something in the healthcare and contribute to the improving the health of human beings across the world. So right after I finished my undergrad in biotechnology from Hyderabad, India, I moved to Chicago in 2013 and to do my master's in bioengineering at University of Illinois, Chicago. And it was an interesting experience for me because I was leaving all my family and my friends behind, and I ventured into this new land with just two suitcases, not knowing anyone in the city. But now I have so many friends all over Chicago and actually all over the US and different parts of the world. And after I finished my master's, I also continued in University of Illinois Chicago to do my PhD in bioengineering, and I finished my PhD in 3.5 years while serving as a student president for the entire graduate student council at University of Illinois Chicago. And it was a very rewarding experience because not only I was educating myself, but I was able to give back to the student community and address the problems and um, engage directly with the university leaders and see how operations are run at that scale while being a grad student.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mhm.
It's always refreshing to interview people who, they're top achievers. They want the most out of life. They want the biggest goals, right? So many of us, as we're climbing towards these really big goals that you're describing, finishing a PhD in less than 4 years, that's incredible. You know, self-doubt gets in our way sometimes. And even the brightest minds, the most talented people can fall victim to this. And I can't imagine it was always easy for you, especially coming to a brand new city where you didn't know anybody, right? And you had to make your own way. How was that journey for you?
Um, as you rightly said, self doubt always comes in the way. I had everything lined up. But then when I was 2 days before I was flying to the US to Chicago, I asked my mentor, "Will I adjust in the new country? Will I do well?" He said, "You will do great, and that's the right kind of place for you to excel." And I think we all have self doubts at various points in our lives, and the key for me was to surround myself with people who knew my strengths more than what I knew about myself. And given the track record I had established during my undergrad and during every phase of my life, um, like even though I like to doubt myself sometimes, my track record tells me you cannot doubt yourself. You have higher aspirations, and you cannot stop here because I haven't achieved anything that thus far, and there's a lot more to do. No matter, even if I got my PhD, I felt like, okay, this is just another step in my life. There's a bigger vision and a bigger goal that I need to head towards, and not let my self doubts stop me. In fact, I never realized that I would come to Stanford one day. And except for my mentor who saw that in me and who kind of nudged me to kind of pursue these dreams. And I'm so grateful that I have mentors like that in my life.
So, your mentor asked you to pursue Stanford and encouraged you.
Yes.
Was this something that you voiced to them before and doubted yourself, or did you not even see it as an opportunity for yourself?
Uh, Given where I came from, there was not so much exposure to what would be the next career opportunities. For example, when I landed in Chicago in 2013 August, I didn't know we have to email a professor, take an appointment to meet with him. All I cared about was to get into a good research lab because I was really passionate about biomedical research and science. So I was that laser focused about my goals. So I kind of took one step at a time, and not having any mentors or guidance in my immediate field at that particular point of time. I was only looking to excel in my limited background, which I think did really well. And but my mentors helped me look past my immediate vicinity and aim for environments like Stanford.
Wow, that's incredible. So often in our life, regardless of who we are or what our goal even is, we talk ourselves out of it sometimes before we even start.
Yeah.
But one thing that you said that really resonates with me is you took action, but it wasn't all at one time. You did a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And all of the sudden, it sounds like it really compounded for you to where that goal was actually achievable. Because I'm sure when you first started, it was not quite achievable. You had
Mm,
to kind of chip away at it over time, right?
yeah. And as you said, there's so many, it's never a straight path. There's so many failures and roadblocks on the way. But one thing that was consistent throughout my life was perseverance and just clear, single minded focus on where I wanted to reach.
Wow. I love that. Well, that's clarity, right?
Yep.
And, so often we don't we see, maybe a bigger goal or a bigger dream, but we don't really have clarity on the goal or whatever that is. Maybe we say, oh, I want to get, $10 million. Really? Or, what is the actual goal? Right. And I think so many times it's really interesting, that when we look back in our life, I think some of the failures that we had or perceived failures, because I really don't believe in failure, but some of the perceived failures that we've had were just a lack of clarity in what we've really wanted. So that's interesting that you say that. You're pioneering healthcare
Mm.
and doing so many interesting things. We talked about longevity and aging. I really am curious, how did you get the clarity for that? And how did that become important to you to pursue?
Mhm. Yeah, just reiterating what earlier the earlier point, I think my favorite quote that's even on my social media handle right now is every accomplishment starts with a decision to try. There's so many situations in life where we feel that particular pursuit is too ambitious or beyond our reach, but every single time I went ahead and pursued it, and despite knowing there is a possibility of failure, I was more scared about not trying than failing. So I think I kept going. And so over the last 10 years, when after being in biomedical research, I've been seeing how many diseases, including idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, Alzheimer's disease, osteoarthritis, they don't have FDA approved drugs, or they don't have therapeutic treatments that can actually reverse the disease. So that's when I realized, before we even get into a disease, why do we not focus on prevention? So that's what drove me towards how do we kind of change or live a life in such a way that we are living healthy, and when we age our health span is also good, not we're not aging sick, or we're not falling sick into all these diseases. So that made me truly passionate about how we can prevent disease by intervening in the lifestyles right from our early age, like right from when we are young, not just wait until we get old and trying to fix things at that time, which makes it a little bit more difficult.
Oh, yeah, my gosh. And who isn't interested, right, in living a longer, healthier life?
Mm.
You know, I think it's one of the main core pillars in just, building confidence. I talk about it in my book. You have to take action. Part of that action that you need to take is an action for yourself. It's about diet and exercise and spirituality. It's about whole person care. You know, if you do the trouble of the prevention work, you're going to have such better results long term. And again, you might not have to do as much reactivity. You
Mm.
know, we talk about that in business just the same. The prevention, right, helps us, in the long term because we don't have that reactive mindset, those reactive habits. It's so much easier and more fruitful and sustainable to be in the prevention. So I love that. And your health comes first. This is true. If we don't have health, we don't have anything else. Health is wealth. Absolutely. And the longer we can live a healthier life, free from disease, where we are healthy, where we focus on our long-term well-being, mental and physical, it's so much better, and it costs a lot less too. I think people don't talk about that enough. The cost of disease is extreme, is it not?
Yeah. So that's the challenge. So how do we incentivize people to start inculcating these healthy lifestyle choices? Everyone knows they have to follow all these healthy lifestyle choices, that they have to eat good, they have to work out, they have to have enough sleep, and to maintain the cardiovascular health. Everyone knows all of this, but it's not easy for them to suddenly switch from what they've been following to follow all this. And even at the policy level, like when there have so many pharmaceutical companies or hospitals banking on people's uh, like failed health, like how do we incentivize people to kind of adapt these healthy lifestyle choices to kind of prevent the disease, is like, I think, is a big question for me.
Yeah, a big part of it, I feel like, is who you hang around with, your outward environment. If you hang around active people who are pursuing success in the terms of, a healthy lifestyle and disease prevention, they kind of rub off on you, right? But the same is true if you surround yourself with people who don't pursue a healthy lifestyle. It's so easy to fall into bad habits.
Yeah.
And I think it's of course your friends who you hang around with, but we spend a lot of time at work. If
Mm.
our colleagues, right? If our companies don't incentivize health and drive health initiatives, it's really easy to, be a workaholic. I know that as a high performer, that was one of my, I'll call it toxic traits, right? I was an absolute workaholic. And if you ask me to just work through lunch, I'd just work through lunch. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable, right? So I think this is important. I think it's our outer environment, who we associate with, our families, our, kind of culture within our families, but then also our habits at work because we spend a lot of time there. Um, I don't know 100% of what the solution could look like, but I think it definitely, has to do with the people we surround ourselves with, don't you think?
Yeah, but the goal here is to kind of take it to every person on this planet and have a, because I think very few or some people are fortunate to surround themselves with the right people, but how do we take it to every single person across the globe is a bigger challenge. And I think the solution that I'm seeing is work integrating the governments, the social media influencers, celebrities, doctors, and behavioral scientists to all come together and kind of come up with solutions to touch every person across the world to start encouraging them to follow these healthy lifestyle interventions.
Yeah. And it's not a quick fix. This is, I say the same thing when I talk about personal development and my GRASS method. It's not a quick fix, it's a lifestyle change. And, you know, I think we would be trying to sell you something if we said, "Oh, you just take this and then all of a sudden you're living a healthy lifestyle, or all of a sudden you're confident, or all of a sudden you're this Y and Z," or whatever it is. I think anything worth having is it takes time, and it's not going to happen overnight. So I would encourage anybody listening to this that, it is possible for you to achieve. Just don't look at it as a quick fix. Look at it more as a lifestyle change and a long-term reward. I think vision plays a big role in this too, how you want to visualize the best version of yourself. When I was, you know, in the journey of who I want to become, I had to ask myself some really hard questions. And I had to look at myself honestly and say, do I want to stay this person? Do I want to stay this way? Or do I want to do the hard work and change? And it's not an easy choice to make, but when we make a choice like that, my gosh, the personal growth that you experience, and, kind of going back to what you said in the beginning as well, you do it one bite at a time, one step at a time, one small percentage at a time. You just keep moving forward. It's just so easy with instant gratification the way it is right now, right? That everybody wants everything instantly, and that's just not how it works, is it?
I think coming from an academic and scientific background, one thing we are trained for is delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Every manuscript we submit, it goes through multiple rounds of revisions. And when we're venturing into new research directions, it's not always true that everything that we do works at the first instance. We have to come up with alternative approaches to lead to that scientific discovery. And so that's when we realize that the goal is bigger than our immediate instant happiness, because once we are perseverant at it, once we are resilient to overcome all the failures, that's where the success awaits. The key is to just be on it and not give up and drop the ball in the middle of the game. Yeah.
Ooh, don't drop the ball in the middle of the game. I like that. That happens so often with any goal, right? Because we see, New Year's resolutions, how fast do they drop off, right? And most people have New Year's resolutions about health, about longevity. Um, but, it's so easy to get derailed. Part of it is that instant gratification. So I like your approach, kind of going into something with a scientific mind, right? It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen over time. And I think that's important. You know, I would love to know because this is a topic that a lot of people are really interested about. We look at this country, we see a lot of people dying at a really young age from preventable disease. Now, I'm not saying it's genetic disease, some of it is, but I feel like a lot of people in this country, globally, of course, but especially in the United States right now, are dying young from preventable disease. And you talk a lot about Alzheimer's research as well. And I know a big portion of the prevention of Alzheimer's happens through healthy nutrition and movement. Do you have any insights into that?
Oh, so the Worldwide Finger team at Sweden has launched this 5 fingers. It's called food, physical activity, sleep, cognitive exercises, and social interactions, and how all of this can actually prevent dementia. And it's been launched in 50 plus countries. And what we're working right now is develop region specific interventions for every part of the world so that people can follow these personalized interventions tailored to them to kind of prevent dementia and kind of lead a healthy life when they get older.
Yes, it's so important, right? And again, it's that lifestyle change I'm talking about. Do it now so you don't have to, be reactive later in life, right?
Yeah.
It's Alzheimer's disease is one of the most devastating diseases out there. And it's not just for that person, it's for your family.
And it's a huge socioeconomic burden even to the society, not just to the families, immediate families around them. So it's continuing to be a global problem.
And one of the devastating things they refer to Alzheimer's as the long goodbye,
Hmm. Yeah.
because you slowly start seeing your loved one fade away.
Mm.
That is the saddest thing, and if you've ever been around somebody with Alzheimer's disease or have been unfortunate enough to have it in your own family, you can relate to that. It's the long goodbye. It's the slowly fading away of that person.
Yeah.
And know that it can be prevented. Should be a wake-up call for all of us right now to say, you know what? That's not what I want for my life. I deserve more. I deserve better. And make that first step today of preventative care, of
Mm.
longevity that's sustainable, right? Do you
Yeah.
have good, insights into what people could do? Maybe some tips or something like that somebody could take away from this conversation that they could start to live a healthier life.
Yeah, the 5 things that I mentioned: balanced diet, physical activity, social interactions, improving cardiovascular health, and having the right amount of sleep every day. And all of these together, not just selecting bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. You
Mm.
got to take care of the whole person, not just one part, right? It is a balance. And, as busy as we are, this is something that we have to put time into, because you can be the busiest person or the richest person in the graveyard, or you can take the time to take care of your body and mind now. So important, and it builds confidence. It helps you step into the leader that I think we're all, meant to be. Step into the person that you're meant to be. And again, ask yourself the hard question: do I want to be in the same place next year, or
Yeah.
10 years, or 20 years? You don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that note, I think that's one thing that I keep following, not just in my personal life, but also in my professional life. I'm always constantly looking into if I'm a better version of myself, if I have acquired more knowledge, and if I'm accomplishing my goals and visions better than last year and last few months. And sometimes it seems ridiculous to some people to hear my aspirations and everything. But then I know I'm capable of it, so I aspire for it and I make sure I work around it to get there. And I think that's the confidence that each of us need to have in our own selves, because if we don't believe in ourselves, it's hard to convince people around us. And unfortunately, we are surrounded by a world where the people around us who enjoy our failure more than our success. But we have to cognizantly surround ourselves with people who cherish and enjoy our success as much as we do about our success, or even more. And I think, giving my example, I think we have those people around us in our workplaces, in our friend circles, and in our extended family. We just have to find them. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Absolutely. Surround yourself with great people and you will become great as well. Wow, what a great episode. I'm sure everybody's going to be really interested to look you up and do some research and learn more about your work. Where are the best places that people can find you?
I think I post a little bit on my LinkedIn page, my professional achievements, and like I do a lot of things outside work. Like I shoot a dance video in every single country that I travel to, but I don't post them anywhere on social media yet. But then, if anyone is looking up for my research publications, they can go to PubMed or Google Scholar. And my TED Talk is available if they look up my name, Vidyani Suryadevara. Courage over comfort, walking the extra mile. And I think that topic fits rightly with your episode, which is focused on confidence.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being an amazing guest today. And thank you for everyone who tuned into this episode of Grasp Confidence Podcast. Guys, we have soared and reached over 200,000 global downloads. And that's because of you and your support. So please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and leave a review for this show and a comment based on your favorite takeaway from this episode. We will catch you on the next one. Take care. And that's a wrap for this episode of Grasp Confidence. Thank you for joining me today and investing in yourself. Remember, building confidence is an ongoing journey, and each step you take brings you closer to the empowered, fearless version of yourself that you were born to be. Don't forget to visit my website, follow me on social media, and purchase my book, which is available on Amazon. Thank you for listening. We will see you on the next episode. Stay confident.